Okay, so this is my part 2. I ended my first video because I didn't want it to be too long, so I could post it on Instagram, which it has to be like 10 minutes. So I was talking about this. I'm going to keep talking about this image. And we're talking about Neptune in the first, the fourth, the fifth, the seventh house, the 10th house, and having Neptune there, and how you can often draw to yourselves people who are not trustworthy, people who are not who they say they are. Okay, they are able to shape shift. They are able to shape shift, and so oftentimes Neptune is associated with the sign of it is the ruler. It's the modern day ruler of Pisces. So that Piscean energy, Neptunian energy, it is the lowest vibration, is one that can absolutely shape shift. It is brilliant at becoming what it is that you want to see, what it is that you need to see, what makes you feel most comfortable. And they mirror you. See the chameleon here in this card from the African American Tarot deck. Even though this is the Five of Wands, this makes it so plain and so clear, because you see the character in the back is mirroring the chameleon. So the chameleon is sitting there in his normal state, and then the person in the back is shape shifting into who they are, into who the chameleon is. And so that is what you have oftentimes when you have hard aspects to Neptune. If you have in your chart Neptune in the 4th house, oftentimes at home, in your home base, right? The 4th house represents your home base and what you were trained as a child. So there could have been a lot of shape-shifting, people being deceptive, people pretending to be what they are not. So you could have learned to be a great pretender yourself. You could have learned to wear a mask so that people cannot really see you, but in turn you draw to people who are wearing masks themselves. They are not who they really are, for the point of self-protection a lot of times. But as we learn more about narcissism and the narcissists, these are people who are so wounded and damaged in childhood that they will come into your life. This could be again, from childhood. You could have been raised up with a narcissist, somebody who was so terribly wounded that they are not able to show true emotion and true empathy, but they pretend to. They learn how to pretend to be caring and showing empathy and that sort of thing, but they cannot keep the mask up for long. But when that happens, when Neptune is in the 4th house, a lot of times you did not receive true affection, grounded affection, and grounded love. So when you grow up and you go out into the world, you are still looking for it, but you don't see it. You don't have it. And when you don't have it, you don't see it, you draw to yourself these types of people. And you could have family members all around you who are narcissistic or are the great pretenders, the great pretenders, pretending to be something they are not. And then you are left not knowing who to trust, right? Because there's a lot of deception happening. 5th house is the house that brings in our love relationships. I'm looking at my time. Our love relationships, people who are drawn to us. We draw to ourselves. Let's fall in love. Let's, get to know each other. Let's go on a date. If you have Neptune in the 5th house, again, you draw the chameleons a lot of times to yourself when it's on the lower vibration. Falling in love with a dream. Falling in love with the dream, falling in love with a great pretender, because they have an ability to sell us a dream. And oftentimes 5th house is childhood too. So oftentimes in childhood we learn this falsehood. Everything around us is false, and then you don't know what to believe, and you don't know to believe yourself. You don't know how to believe yourself. And so that's something that we can see. And then in the 7th house, Neptune in the 7th house, again, like I said, that to me, I feel like that is the worst placement. That's the worst placement, Neptune in the 7th. And then because it represents all of the other people that you come in contact with. So on the low vibration, oftentimes, multiple times, the person that you marry is not who they appear to be, but you don't find it out until you get married, or you into a contract with somebody, and then you find out that they are not who they are pretending to be. 10th house is your area of career. So Neptune sitting here is that showing that your bosses and people in leadership in your area of career, the company that you work for, are chameleons or narcissistic people who are not real with empathy, who oftentimes are pretending. And the cure for Neptune is, first of all, paying attention to your body, learning to trust yourself. And that's the real work. And I admit I am continuing to work on this, because I have a hard placement of Neptune. And I am continuing to work on this myself. And it is the hard brick-like, what's the word? What is the ball on the chain that comes and it knocks you down? And it knocks your world down, and it crashes into the building. And those are the things that really, really, really wake you up to Neptune, wake you up to pay attention to your body, to make you take more time to let people present themselves for who they really are, what their motives really are. So everybody is not to be distrusted. God knows there are so many trustworthy people, but it is about us healing. Looking at my time, it's about us being honest. I think that's the main thing. I think that oftentimes we learn when we have Neptune in these hard places. We learn from our parents, we learn from our upbringing how to pretend. And a lot of times when we, especially people raised in the church, we learn how to wear the mask. We learn that is very much just a part of our normal day-to-day life, is to wear the mask and to pretend to be what we are not with the church people. And it crosses over into every area of our life, so that we are not able to be honest with ourselves. And then we are not honest with other people. So we are constantly pretending, and then you reap what you sow. So a lot of times when we have pretenders in when we have presented ourselves in this mask-like way, because that's what we have been taught, it looks good, this is what you should be, this is what you want to be, then you bring people to yourself who are masquerading. They are masquerading a lot of times, because a lot of times we lie to ourselves. That's the thing of it. Like, there is self-deception a lot of times. Like, we meet somebody and we know, I'm looking at my time, we meet somebody and we feel this person is lying to me, or questions or things present themselves to us, or the universe is saying, look at this, why is it that they are living with their parents? Why is it that they are telling you, why is somebody calling their phone and they are lying to you, saying, no, it's not me, they had the wrong number, but your ding, ding, ding will be going off inside telling you that that's not true. But we won't listen. We won't pay attention. We hear somebody being mean to someone else, and we see them being mean to other people, but yet we want to act like they won't be mean to us. When you see this is a mean person, they're showing you who they are. No different than Maya Angelou. How many times have we said that when people show you who they are, believe them. When they tell you who they are, believe them.